Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is Muhammad Atif and this is the summary of today's lesson. Today we took lesson 3 unit 1. The title of the lesson was It's Good to Learn Languages. And before we started the lesson, we discussed the learning objectives of today's lesson and we discussed what we are going to learn in today's lesson. So these are the learning objectives. First of all, reading. And in this activity, reading and answering questions, choosing correct words to complete sentences. So this is the activity that we discussed and we have done during the class. Next, speaking activity, we discussed the advantages of the learning languages. Next was listening activity. In this activity, we listened to the track, and in that audio track, listening to short interviews about learning languages and writing. In that activity, in this activity, we discussed some questions. We listened to the audio and then wrote the answers for the questions. And then critical thinking, speculating, drawing conclusions, and we find the conclusion. Okay, we discussed the language advantages, and then we conclude the discussion and we find out that either the learning of new languages are beneficial or not. And then some new vocabulary words that we discussed in activity 2, and we will discuss it in lesson. So let us move to the lesson now. So then we started the lesson with an open discussion in class, and the discussion was why it is good to learn other languages. So that was the question, and students participated and they identified different advantages according to their knowledge and according to the importance of different languages, and they participated really well. For example, they discussed the advantage, like the first advantage of learning other languages is to talk with different people. When you visit another country, you can easily talk and communicate with other people, and they feel good when someone talk in the language of the visited country or the host country. And second, they discussed the advantage of regarding education, and same like work. If you want to do business with another country, and if you know the language of that country, if the language is different, so if you know the language of that country, it will be beneficial for you. Like you can do good business and you can earn a lot more profit than the person who don't know the language of that country. So we discussed those language advantages, and then after that we listened to the track 3, activity 1, in which we listened to the interview of about 6 person, and 6 persons, and then we talk of, and we match their opinion in the given table here. For example, in the given interview in the track, Daniel talked about the advantage of meeting people socially. He told us that if you know the other languages, it will be helpful and it will be a good advantage for you when you meet people socially. So that was the first advantage. Okay, so let us listen to the more advantages, and then we will conclude and we will solve the answer. So here is the track 3.
Track 3. Is it useful to know another language? I asked a few people this question, and here are some of the answers I got. The first person I spoke to was Daniel. Can I ask you, Daniel, is it useful to speak another language?
Yes, it is. Definitely. Speaking to someone in their own language, even if it is only for a short time, makes that person feel more at ease.
So they're happier to talk because they're more relaxed in social situations.
Yes, that's right.
Next, I spoke to Suzanne.
It's really useful when you visit another country. Just to say hello and thank you in the language of that country is good.
So knowing just a few words makes a difference.
Yes, it makes all the difference.
You may only know a few words, but people like it when you try to speak their language. Thanks, Suzanne. Next, I spoke to Elliot.
If you enjoy music or films from another country, it's good to be able to understand at least a little bit.
Do you speak any other languages?
Well, I'm learning Spanish at school. I like being able to understand some of the words when I hear a Spanish song.
Aisha Davis is a doctor. Aisha, what do you think are the advantages of learning a language?
Studies show that learning another language is good for you.
Really?
Yes, it improves your brain power, and there is some evidence to show that people who are bilingual live longer.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Next, I spoke to Ben. Ben, what do you think the advantages are of learning another language?
Knowing another language helps you to use your own language well. I teach history, and I find that students who know another language have better reading skills and wider vocabulary. And of course, having another language can be very helpful for going to college or university.
Thanks, Ben. It's good to have a teacher's point of view. Lisa is doing business studies. She's in her second year at university. Lisa, are you more likely to be successful if you speak the language of the people you do business with?
Yes, you are. For example, if you work for a Japanese company in Europe or America, you really need to speak some Japanese. And they say that people who use languages in their jobs earn about 8% more than people who don't use them.
That's a big advantage.
So that was a track, and after listening to the track, we solved activity one. Okay, for example, Daniel shared advantage I've discussed earlier also already, and same like that, we solved the next participant's answer. And the next participant was Suzanne, okay, in the track. And Suzanne talked about traveling. She told us that if you travel along the world and around the world, and even if you can say just hello, hi, and just few basic words in their own language, so the people really like to talk to you, and they really appreciate that you can just greet them in their own language. So this is the huge benefit, because if you travel in some another in another country and you are new there and you need any help, so if you make the person pleased that you are asking for help, so it will be a good impression, and he or she will help you beyond the limits when he or she will be happy. So the next is Elliot, and Elliot talk about entertainment. He mentioned that he liked Spanish music, and that's why he wants to learn Spanish, so because he can enjoy the Spanish music. And for the entertainment reason, Yani, you can understand, you can learn the new language for entertainment reason. And then and Aisha talked about health. She was a doctor, and she told us that it is good for health, and the people who can speak multiple languages, they live longer than the people who just knows one language. It's just a science research. And then next Ben, and Ben talk about the last activity, F, education. And the next was Lisa, and Lisa talk about work. Yani in business, if you know different languages, it is helpful for you to earn more and to do business more effectively. So that was the activity two, and after completing the activity, I shared the answers with you guys in the class, and here are the answers again in the summary video. And the next activity was activity four, and it was activity two, sorry. Activity two is related to the vocabulary. We have words and definitions, and we need to match them. For example, at ease means relaxed. Advantages means the good points and about something, and improves, that makes better. And evidence means facts that tells you something is true, and skills is abilities to do something well. So these are the advantages of these are the vocabulary words and their definitions. And after that, we'll listen to the track again. I'm not going to include the track again. You can rewind the video and listen to the track, and then we solve this activity 3. I'm going to include the answers here for the students who missed the lecture, so they can watch that video again. So here are the answers for activity 3. And then activity 4 is again activity 4 about the track. And in that activity 4, we just need to listen to the track. And when you will listen to these phrases and words like definitely, then you have to raise your hand. This means like you understand and you can identify the words in listening activities. Okay, so this is the reason for that activity. So students have to complete it at home. So that's all for today. After that, we discuss the homework, and I will share the homework in your groups. Thank you so much and take care. Allah Hafiz.